Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Brad Ellis,
NFTs,
Michael Huber,
The Matrix,
and my youthful and vibrant co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth.
The gunk.
Whoa. Making it all happen in the control room. Isla Hank.
Are we saying things we like or don't like?
I don't know.
I think that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Both?
Whatever.
Topical. The Matrix.
Pollution.
Distinguished guests, we are here to talk about some of the biggest headlines in the world of video games. But before we do that, we have to go through a doozy of a corrections list. Maybe the biggest I have ever read in my time here as moderator of this podcast.
There's a certain person on last week.
It was a 2.5 hour loopy
nice.
Bossman episode.
Oh, that explains it.
That was chaos.
Buckle up. Isla, begin corrections music, please.
Boop.
The poem by Clement C. Moore, commonly known as The Night Before Christmas, is actually titled what? Anybody?
I saw the correction and I
A
forgot.
Visit from St. Nicholas.
I did not know that.
GTA 5 was released in September of 2013, not 2015. I have remembered that incorrectly for a long time. Wow, 8 years almost. Wow.
Yes.
I just know because
PS3.
that's when The Last of Us came.
8, almost 9. Wow. Kalashnikov. I said Kalishnikov. Of
course.
Maybe more of a U.S. way of saying it. I also called him an arms dealer, which is an embellishment. I apologize. So many comments like, "Hey," I'm like, I was being cheeky, but yeah, arms manufacturer. Fallout 4 has the same name pronunciation feature as Forza. Confirmation from more than one comment of people who are like, I didn't give them anything, and they said my name out loud.
So weird.
The contract is the 4th story-driven major update to GT Online, which we didn't say specifically. I don't think I was saying this is the first story thing, because the Caio Perico, and there's been a lot of things
Yeah.
I have checked out. But
Franklin.
we were talking about the emphasis
Like a main
of it,
character, though, right?
It's Eno's father that is jacked into the Shinobi VR-like communication headset.
What did you say?
In what?
What did you do here? Where you got
Guilty
something in
here?
Naruto wrong?
That's the question, Isla.
It's Naruto.
Okay.
Eno's dad.
Okay, there we go. We did it.
That's right.
Moving
So
on.
was Shikamaru's dad. This is my bad.
Austin Powers lost his mojo in the second movie.
Damn,
I
that's the
know.
second one?
The second movie, not
All
the
right.
third.
All right, that's my fault. That was my
The
fault.
two most corrected mistakes we made were the release date of GTA 5 and Austin Powers losing his mojo in the second film, not the third.
Okay.
EA Motive's last Star Wars game totally came out. It was Squadrons, and they did Battlefront 2 before
Yeah.
that.
Well, we know that came out, but they
was
were
another
working
one that was
on the
canceled?
leftovers of the Hennig one, too, at some point.
Didn't get
Pretty
a
sure.
long time to work on that one. Sonic Mania team reformed as Evening Star and are working on a new IP. So might not be all of them, but
Nice.
they are doing a new thing. Japan enacted a new series of travel restrictions at the end of November. It's incredibly difficult to get in and out of the country at this point, so that's likely why Bowser accepted the Metroid Award. I was like, where
Got it, yeah.
are the actual people who made Metroid?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mercury Steam, I thought.
Mercury Steam, yeah.
From Barcelona.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And also they could have recorded a video, but
Yeah, they could have recorded a video, yeah.
Robin and the studio developing Arc Raiders are Swedish. So the musical artists providing the song for that trailer and the Arc Raiders developers, they're
Got
both
it, got
Swedish,
it.
so they were like, oh, it's probably connected
Did
there.
we get that? I know she's Swedish. Did we get that wrong? Or are they just telling us?
I just think we made that connection, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just another reason why they might have picked that song. Lana Wachowski actually did write Matrix Awakens. Some VFX artists
Whoa.
who used to
Yeah.
work on the Matrix series but now work for Epic offered to work together with her again on this.
Nice.
The game that was, quote, the developer's dream to be at the Game Awards was Somerville. And Jeff Keighley was the one who said yes, ma'am, to Deborah Wilson at the Game Awards. A lot of people have asked me if that was me. It was not. It was Keighley.
It was
He was
Keighley.
mic'd. She came out and yelled at Keighley and said yes, ma'am. And corrections music, please.
Boop.
I thought it was you, honestly.
Yeah.
It sounded like
Keely
Jones.
I wish.
said yes, ma'am?
I
But
gotta
that's the
yell
thing.
louder next year.
That's a thing, though. For years, and there's still people out there, people thought that Keely voiced all the reviews.
Oh,
One of my
man.
first
right.
tweets is a picture of Keely and I. I'm like, see,
That's right.
Keely. Not doing starring role this week, but
we got
next
all
week,
them all.
the episode we're recording after this episode that you can check out on December 24th or 26th, depending on when you get this podcast.
Christmas
The Starring Role Awards. Stay tuned. It'll be very exciting.
Ooh.
The
Yeah.
old.
As picked by these two
Okay.
wackos, and then wacko in the next room.
Uh-huh.
They're remaking Splinter Cell.
Yay!
Yeah.
Last time I was on here, we were talking about some sort of. I fucking went off on Ubisoft.
This isn't a speculation. This
they did
isn't
the right
some
thing.
IP purchase or some, something that maybe this business move could mean this. They released a developer interview and a retrospective of the 2002
The
game. 8.5.
retrospective was like a few minutes, 8.5 minutes or 11 minutes or something like that.
Love me a retrospective. A
Yeah.
developer made
It
retrospective.
was cool.
Ooh,
I gotta
It was
watch
very
that.
cool.
showing some stuff. we
Also,
might
like
not
a
get to see
perspective
before.
on Ubisoft that like I just didn't have in my head because they thought that like, oh yeah, we really weren't a big company at that point. I was like, kind of were
compared to
but-
now. Yeah.
compared to now, I guess.
What does big even mean? When they're at that level, how do you quantify
Yeah.
that?
Because they already had Rainbow Six and that stuff
Yeah.
going. That was what part of it too. They're like, this was really realistic. We thought it would fit in well with the Tom Clancy universe. So it was like it wasn't like it didn't start out that way, but just talking about how like basically the technology and the gameplay merging together. I really dig the way that they talked about this. I know some people are like, oh, it's too early. Why are you going to tell people about the game? While you're still hiring a team. But I'm like, it's Ubisoft, man. They don't tell people. It's just going to leak on an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going to see Sam Fisher show up in 3 more games and you're going to complain every time about
Right.
it. So you might as
Yeah.
well let them know that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
this was the way to do it for sure.
And some high points was like people were like really jazzed to be not working on an open world game.
Yes.
Yeah, like we get to like actually design
Mission,
levels very
yes.
intentionally, and like even a shade in a room will have a purpose. Like they were so
Shade will have a
excited.
purpose.
Like it's so great, and they talk about this as like this will be the foundation of where Splinter Cell
Yes,
goes next.
this is the
So-
correct
Yes.
move to
Yeah.
make. With
We are
this series.
building a solid base for the future of Splinter Cell.
That's
the future
classic
of Splinter
Ubisoft.
Cell. The future.
Assassin's Creed Infinite, Splinter Cell
That's
Infinite,
creative director Chris
Division
Audi.
Infinite.
Okay, reason this is a good idea. People complain about remakes a lot because there's a lot right now, and I get that. But it's been a long time for Assassin's Creed. Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell came out in like PS2, Xbox era. It's been a long time. A lot of people haven't played it, including myself. Now's the time to go back. Remakes are hot,
Yeah.
and it's a good way to test this franchise again without doing a brand new Splinter Cell that takes place like 10 years after. You want people to hop into this who've never played it before, and you're going to get the old fans. It's
Yeah.
the correct move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, they also talked about like, whoop, we missed a whole generation.
Exactly, yes.
More than a whole, a generation and a half.
And it's not like they have to compete with Metal Gear or anything now.
It's been
just
20
them.
years since Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
I remember light shining
Not
through
quite 20
blinds.
20 years next year.
Okay.
I
So, yeah,
remember
'cause they said
screenshots of
19.
that.
Yeah.
That's why they waited this long, right?
No.
It's not releasing on the anniversary.
Yeah, it's not.
That's gonna be
Because they were like,
Like
no,
3
we
years out.
want to,
Yeah, this game's like
we'll
3
talk
years
about
away.
the anniversary. Why did they wait so long? You seem happy, Brad. Are you more happy
Yes,
than
I'm
just
super
upset it
happy.
took this long?
I mean, I'm upset it took them so long because they're dumb. But yes, I'm happy because they did the right thing finally. It's like we're not getting a stupid spin-off with Sam Fisher in a game no one cares about. We're not getting X-Defiant or something crappy
Right.
like that.
Yeah, I
Proper
think that's
Splinter
what
Cell.
makes it. That's what made the wait painful is because they were just like shipping them out to other properties.
Yeah.
Little nods here, little nods there, and it's like we just want a Splinter Cell game.
the image of just black background, 3 green lights, now hiring.
Yeah.
That's sexy. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Also, respect the goggles as like
Yeah, that's
their core.
That's the
theme
signature.
for
It's
the
not until you get
team.
to the Ubisoft logo in the corner that you really start to kind of
You
question
hear
that.
those boot up.
Yeah, it's
They
classic.
talked about that in there too. That was a late addition.
Nice the noise.
Great
Yeah.
addition.
Dope.
But yeah, I think it's, I think the main thing for them to do with this is to find the scope, find the scale. Because I think the thing that killed Blacklist and basically killed Deus Ex as well is like putting so much crazy budget into something and then expecting it to be, like the returns to be like a live service game or something. It's like, no, you gotta know what you're gonna get out of it. You gotta have to understand like what scale, what budget you're approaching this with. And then it can be a successful game at that scale if you don't have crazy expectations on it.
That makes me think of Resident Evil 6, how you're describing this series.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will be the RE7 kind of thing that brings it back to what people actually like about it.
Yeah, what are they going to do with like technology and time? Because it's such a big part of Splinter Cell is like his gadgets and stuff. Like in the earliest one, the technology was insane that you could like put a little camera under a door and like look like that was like, oh man, high tech. So it's like, are we gonna have a remake set in the 90s or early 2000s, or are we gonna do
That's an excellent
a
question.
modern
because
day?
they're not
tech-
rebooting Splinter Cell,
Yeah.
they're remaking Splinter Cell 1.
Yeah.
So is that something
So they
question.
should date it.
is that noticeable? Like, do you think playing Splinter Cell 1 again is going to like prep you in a good way for this game? Is this going to be like that weird Daniel Craig GoldenEye? Or like like how much is this going to remind us of specifically that video game? Not just Sam Fisher and the highlights of the franchise, but like 1, which I honestly don't remember. I didn't finish it.
There's a lot of slow infiltrations, a lot of like infiltrating a complex through rafters and vents and just
Pipes,
science.
baby.
Doing the
Pipes.
splits high up on a hallway.
Exactly. Oh my
The pipe shimmy.
yes. Yeah, so I mean, I would imagine they're looking over at IO, you know, what they've done with Hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some good inspiration there.
But they talked about that stuff. They talked about that being important, to be able to observe
Nice.
and to take your time and to get the perfect run, and about it being, you know, the hidden, you know, the silent assassin kind of thing. You know, and
you were never there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
That's
just
cool.
they're saying all the right things right now.
Yeah, there's
So
an audience for
hopefully-
that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that
gotta
team can keep those
plan
goals
it.
on track.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not, you know, they said a lot of right things about Beyond Good and Evil 2, so let's hope it's not another one of those situations.
We've gotten 2 trailers for that.
Because, yeah, we had trailers for
We
that.
don't even know what that game is.
Yeah, we don't really
Like,
know what
we
that
don't
game
know
is.
what
We got a
this is-
developer interview for Beyond
We have a
Good and
pretty
Evil
good
2.
idea what this is and
Still,
what they want to do
that
with it.
game,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is working on it.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
No, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is hiring other people to work on
hiring
it.
There was
us to
never
work on it, yeah.
there was never a point where we had a clear idea what Beyond Good and Evil 2 was supposed to be.
There were
This
Vaughn
is just
trailers.
like this big picture crazy like flying to planets and whole
Yeah.
cities and just like a giant like and do what? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you're going to be infiltrating here,
Yeah.
shooting some dude,
Sure.
doing the splits.
We know the concept, yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be small scale.
Yeah, it can be small
Right.
scale.
Yeah, I mean, especially for now, like that's a small scale game.
Yeah.
Unless they go like crazy with building out on it, which it sounds like they kind of don't want to do.
Yeah.
So
Well, if this game's not going to be ready next year, 2022 is 20th anniversary of this game. Maybe a little remaster, get it out on the
Yeah, they had a remaster on PS3.
old gen consoles,
360.
get it out on the Switch.
They could.
You know, if you're
Yeah.
spend up that much money drumming up the name Sam Fisher and get
I think it'd be
everyone excited
cool,
about it.
Cool, but I don't know.
Did they talk about Ironside at all in the video? I'm assuming.
they talked about him a little bit as it being like a new thing. Like at that time, like to have somebody like a recognizable actor in a video game was just not normal. But they didn't talk like he would come back. Yeah, I think he's got to be out at this point. They've got to bring in somebody fresh. Because I think they're probably going to want to establish who the voice is going to be for
Sure.
another 10 years or so.
Yeah.
For the future.
That's
of
scary,
Splinter
but
Cell.
you know, look what happened with Kratos, and now I can't imagine
Yeah.
anyone else voicing Kratos. You know,
a
he's
very-
so
very good
good.
point.
I was
bet-
very nervous about that moving into the new God of War, and it.
Yeah, I mean,
Paid
Peter
off.
Parker hijacked the old version, and it was like, you know,
And
I'll
it's
get
like,
used to this weirdo. That's fine.
Probably gonna get a new Chris every Resident Evil game now.
Yeah. Seriously.
There's got to be some specific virus he's had the whole time. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't that Mission Impossible? Wasn't that thing he like stabbed it? No, it was what's the futuristic movie where Tom Cruise where he jabs in his neck and it like distorts his face? Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick
That's what he's been
movie.
doing the whole time. Just 'cause they can't find him.
It's gonna be
They got
some
the
liquid ocelot shit
camera
with
scanning
Wester
stuff.
and Chris.
Can't find Chris Redfield.
There you go.
The issue is Ubisoft already said they were remastering / remaking something and then showed it to all of us. And we
Yeah.
were like, that looks terrible. And they were like, whoops, we'll come back with more
Oh,
news
yeah,
about
Prince
that
of
next year.
Persia.
Hopefully they've
See,
learned.
yeah. So I'm not holding my breath for this. This is still unofficial to me.
Sure.
This is still 100% unofficial. Even if it's official, I am choosing to believe it's unofficial until we get like a year closer or something.
Hey, but it's
Until I see
official.
the fruits of the labor, because Beyond Good and Evil 2 is official as well,
True.
and that honestly feels like it's never going to come
There's
out.
so many leaks out of this company too that when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it got leaked. Oh no, they actually announced it. Oh, they made a video and everything.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
them.
I'll say this about Splinter Cell compared to Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil sounded like they wanted to be super crazy ambitious with this series.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that was at E3 though, right?
yeah. And Splinter Cell, it's like literally just make it Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
You don't got to do some fucking crazy sci-fi traveling to other planets on spaceships.
The low-key announcement makes it more real. For
You know
sure.
what was
for
low
sure.
key? Was the RE2 remake announcement.
True.
Yeah, that first one. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That
We
was
do it.
crazy.
Do it.
I think that was like the same day they signed. That was like in
That's
the
true.
next room. They were just like, come
I
on,
trust Capcom more than
record this
Ubisoft.
video. Who's got a phone?
Now, yeah.
No, he was even showing that thing off like before he got approval or something, right? Like he was like, "I'm gonna go
gonna
give
do
the
it."
pitch." Yeah.
Do it.
That's why. How good that remake was. I was like, based on that video, I didn't
Yeah.
think we were getting this. And yeah, you never know. Snowdrop is going to make that game happen. The Snowdrop engine from 2016's The Division.
Division looks
Okay.
great.
Yeah,
How-
they were talking that up.
We feel confident in said
I
engine,
love the way Division looks.
As long as the team's comfortable with the engine.
and that's handling an open world. Which,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
Taking all that open world and stringing it
If
down
it-
and
It reminds me of like Frost. I just hope it's not like Frostbite, where they're trying to work on this engine that wasn't made for these type of games.
true.
Why do they name all these engines after cold stuff?
They're from San
Snowdrop,
Francisco.
But exactly.
Frostbite.
Coldest place.
Frost.
Yeah, they're
You-
from SF.
because they're
You be
cool.
quiet.
Because they're cool. Blood, what kind of an NFT in the Splinter Cell universe would you be attracted by?
You
What
love
could
NFTs.
Ubisoft loves NFT? They've named as Quartz. What could Quartz bring to you from the Splinter Cell universe? Sky's the limit, man. It could be anything. It could be the goggles. Different goggles, different color goggles.
Rayman themed goggles.
Yeah, pink goggles.
goggles.
Beyond Good and Evil themed goggles
Oh
in
my
it.
God.
There you go.
Gosh.
Oh no.
I know you can't be in this room, but the mood shift when you say
Yeah.
those 3 letters
Yeah.
is so great.
I'm not
Just had to
like
get it in there.
I'm not an old out of touch boomer when I despise NFTs,
Most
right?
people.
Well, if you want to
Like, do
align,
all the kids love them?
if you want to align with several developers at Ubisoft who Kotaku picked up internal messaging at the studio, and like all the devs are writing the executives being like, no, if we have a say in any of this,
Yeah.
no, and
Yeah.
we ask you to question what you're doing, why are you doing this?
Just
Like,
Yeah.
wait. They'll
we're
come
obviously going to
Assassin's
get
Creed.
bad feedback from this. Why do you want
coming.
that? Why are you? So some devs have your back. I don't know how many people use
Assassin's Creed's the place to test
Oh
that.
my god, they're coming. Yep.
It's because they've done all the weird shit in that
Altair's
series.
Cloak NFT.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Infinity. That's the AC that they have yet to really detail. Yep. We'll get to it. We had a Nintendo Indie World Showcase,
Yeah.
which you reacted to, Daniel Bloodworth.
Didn't react.
No.
to
You
it.
did not react to. Oh
Did
no,
not.
we did. Damian didn't do
No.
it. We were.
No.
We were talking about it, and then we decided not to, and then thank goodness because Damiani's power went out about halfway through.
That's
that direct.
right.
So it would not have gone well.
There were lots of discussion of internet working or not. We got some shadow drops, which I want to bring up right off the bat because
Yeah.
I think it's a great way for Nintendo Indie World. I feel bad a little bit because I think this is a great way for them to differentiate themselves, for them to make headlines that you can either batch them all together if you're writing an article, or you can say, hey, Chicory's on Switch right now. But Chicory Dungeon Munchies, Let's Play Oink Games, and Timeline. Nintendo
Timely.
Time
right?
Lee? Oh,
Yeah.
it
pretty
might have-
sure. Or is he Timely or Time Lie? But I'm pretty sure there's not an N in there.
Thanks, Google Docs. Do you think Indie World Showcase turns away shadow drops? Do you think anybody ever has gone to one of these shows and been like, "We're ready, let's do it," and like, we have enough, we're fine?
Maybe.
Anybody ever been coerced into a shadow drop?
I'm curious.
Just release it. Just go.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to them because sometimes they just know for a good while. They're like, this is the date.
Yeah.
And on a rare occasion we'll get the heads up and like, we've got some review codes for you. Don't tell anyone the date because we're announcing it later. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Shadow drop spoilers.
That has definitely happened.
That has
We're
definitely
like,
happened.
we were doing a betting special or something, and I was like, well, I can't pick that because I have the code for this game, and the embargo is the date of this press conference. So I kind of have a feeling.
Sea of Stars was my personal favorite pick out of everything that was
yeah,
on there.
Of course.
All that footage was from the Switch version.
Looked great.
Cool.
Good. Yeah.
Holiday 2022, so that is a year away. Please don't delay. Please don't delay. I don't know why.
Do it,
I don't
delay
think
it,
that with
that's
every
fine.
game, but
It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
delay it. Whatever. It's
If you
no
need to
rush
delay it,
for
delay it.
anything.
Yeah.
all right, fine.
Yeah, I'll still be playing Elden Ring. It's fine.
But it looks amazing. And I never really put my finger on it, but when I said that on Twitter, Brad, everybody came at me with Chrono Trigger. They're like, because it looks a lot and plays a lot
Yeah,
like
it
Chrono
does.
Trigger, and so they're doing it the RPG thing right.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
just-
because they don't have like separate battle screens and stuff. So you do all the battles there like
Yeah.
in the same screen.
It's like Chrono Trigger.
They've got like kind of combo moves that,
Dual
between
tech
different
stuff, yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
But then they also got the Paper Mario style like syncing with animation,
Yeah, that's true.
hit the
Yeah.
button attacks. Yeah.
Got a lot of good stuff.
lot of they didn't show this off specifically, but I remember when they first showed it off, a lot of like smaller frames of animation that you don't typically expect in a game like that. A lot of like traversal options, climbing things, climbing over something, going in and out of the water, but it's not just like you jump out. Like there's lots of little beats of animation where you see them, specifically doing that activity. Just so much detail. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Well, and their lighting engine and the way the day-night cycle is very important to that game. It's very interesting the way that it looks because it's somehow like merging like 2D and 3D in a way that actually works very well and doesn't look like extra pixelated or bland or anything like that. Like it's just a very very pretty game and the lighting effects
yeah.
work in its favor.
If I was Square and if this game is good, I'd be like, hey,
Right.
you want to make a game or something?
Right. Well, yeah, and the fact that they've got Mitsuda to do some of the music.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here we go. good stuff.
This would look great if they are remastering FFT. Like, do it in this style.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
February, which needs some games as far as I'm concerned, has Figment 2, which isn't jumping out at me. What's Figment 2?
It's like you're going around through a mind, like disposing of bad thoughts or something like that. I remember the first time.
Inside.
The first
Or
time I
wait,
saw it in a
Inside Out.
showcase, it just felt like the way that they worded it was like, this is kind of narratively kind of weird. But yeah, there's like a lot of like musical elements and that kind of thing too. It hasn't stuck out to me in particular. Like I don't know, it's just like the vibe of it
Sure.
isn't hitting me. But yeah, it's been out there for a little while.
Also in February, Ollie Ollie World.
Yeah,
Oh,
February
yeah.
8th.
I want to call it 2 or 3 or something, but
Which
Yeah,
that
this is a
gets
whole new
into
thing.
again these weird things of like, okay, does Devolver count as indie anymore?
Yeah.
And like Ollie Ollie World now, like they've been bought
they're
by
a public
private
That's the
company.
third one. Jones.
division.
right.
So now
Well,
they're
it's
part
three.
of Take-Two Interactive, like who writes their paychecks.
Yeah.
So you're in an indie direct,
It's a Nintendo indie.
right? But at the same
It's
time,
confusing, yeah.
the majority of the development process, that was not the case. It's only these last couple of months since they've been purchased. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Ollie Ollie's fun and charming. Is this franchise going to blow up a little bit with this one, or do you think this is going to be another little
Blow
satisfying
up,
entry?
I
Blow
wouldn't
up,
say,
no.
but I think the
yeah.
art style is going to help it get more attention because it looks more appealing than the
I
other
think,
ones to me.
yeah, I think
visually.
it'll get more attention.
Yeah, it
than
has
the
more-
past ones.
character,
hopefully.
I'd say, and personality.
Spring of next year is getting Alicia.
Yeah, this one is a weird description. So it's like there's two characters. It's like Alicia and Leisha or something like that. Where's this thing?
Check the notes.
Ending
notes.
Extinction is Forever is the other game, and this is coming spring, which I love. Ending.
Alicia with two eyes, the oblivion of twin goddesses.
Oh my.
Two-player co-op journey with a friend.
Jolly.
Aisha and Leisha are the two characters.
Okay.
Alicia and Leisha.
So Alicia, there we go.
Yeah.
And Extinction is Forever is also in spring.
Endling. Extinction is forever, yeah.
Endling, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Endling.
autocorrected on
The
all of these
Endlings.
titles. That's what I get for typing them out.
Yeah, that one is.
Dude, the concept of an endling is so intense.
You're playing as. This game feels like it's gonna be so depressing.
Yeah, the
You're
endling
playing
is the
as-
last of a species.
Yeah, you're playing as a fox, like after the midst of the climate crisis, and all these people are just like hungry and starving and like just trying to eat you and your cubs.
Oh, jeez.
And you start out with 3 cubs, and you have to try to
Yeah, I'm
like
so in for this.
keep them alive through the whole game,
Damn.
and see how many you can keep alive by the end. Okay.
Sounds awesome.
While you
High
find
stakes.
someplace that humans can't get to you.
Summer 2022 has Locomotive, Afterlove EP, and River City Girls 2, which we are
Oh,
familiar
River
with.
City
But
Girls.
Yeah,
is
we
fun.
are.
Yeah. River City Girls looks cool. Locomotive is like a point-and-click adventure with like a lot of comedy, and like
Oh.
it's on a train, but it's also you're looking for the motive of the killer.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
feels kind of like a Clue kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like I think it almost feels like any of these characters could be the killer. I'm not even sure if like maybe different instances it could change. Maybe.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
So, fun little game.
Sweet.
So high for River City Girls. Second favorite beat 'em up to
Is
Streets
that,
of Rage in the
is
last
that
couple
way
years.
forward?
Yeah.
Yep.
Parkasaurus, Don't Starve Together, Baby Storm, Grime, Gerda of Flame and Winter, and Behind the Frame do not have release dates.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Or
also
Don't
in there.
Starve? Wait, Don't Starve's not on Switch?
Don't
Together.
Starve Together comes
Don't
to
Starve
Oh,
It's
Together.
been out
Yeah.
for a while.
Gerda is being published by Don't Nod. It's the first like third-party game that they're publishing. So it's interesting.
Intriguing, Bloodworth.
Yeah.
How intriguing. Just
Very.
based on a publisher? Yeah, you
Don't
would,
Nod,
you
yeah.
trust the
I stand
pedigree?
Don't Nod so hard. I'm like all in forever on Don't Nod.
Anything else from that list stand out, Bled? Or just the show itself, the Indie World Showcase?
Yeah,
a good,
well,
a good
I mean-
prep for the end of the year?
Of the ones that you talked about, the board game one, which is like a collection of like, unique board games. I think that's interesting that just popped out. And then Dungeon Munchies, which also shadow dropped, was
Sounds like a school game, like Math Munchers.
Yeah, so it's
Dungeon
like
munchies.
you basically like all of these different monsters and stuff. Like you collect ingredients, and then they give you boosts.
Ooh.
So it's like this mix of like, yeah, kind of like action RPG, but also like cooking and like finding the recipes
Hey, that's
to give
cool.
you the combination of boosts that you want.
Very fun.
Steam released their top 20, their top like 250 games. I grabbed the top 20. 10
I
didn't
haven't
seem
seen
like
any of
enough
this.
because 20 to 11, there were some ones that I think are deserving of mention because 10 to 1 is crazy. I don't know any of these games. And what's interesting is this is the Steam tracking site SteamDB. It compiles an algorithmically generated list of the top games determined by total number of positive ratings, total number of negative ratings, a factored percentage of both, and the game's peak concurrent player count and other factors, but those are the biggies. So this is all sorts of factors determining, obviously not just, sales, but like what is the engagement of this game on Steam. And it's fascinating because, especially at the end of the year, it's just nice to get a good sense of like, wow, so many of these games are something that I, do not know of or I obviously was not playing. I do think, I don't even know how we could guess what the very top of the list is. From 1 through 20, are there any titles you think you can call?
GTA 5.
No.
GTA Online, I mean.
Valheim?
CS:GO.
Valheim number 13. Thank you, Isla.
Wait, why no GTA Online?
Stoked about this.
I
Just
understand that.
didn't make the list.
Do they have their own launcher?
Yeah, they have the Rockstar launcher, don't they? They're not on
Got it.
Steam.
CS:GO.
Got it.
No CS:GO.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, bummer.
Among Us probably still in there, huh?
No
No?
Among Us. Yeah, interesting.
Not
Five Nights at
Phasmophobia.
Freddy's.
Playtime, I imagine. Yeah,
Is
no Phasmophobia.
Roblox on there?
There
There's
is
a
a
weird
spooky
list.
game that we have that I know you've played this year.
Roblox would be
Visage.
They
Dead
made
by
the list, which
Daylight?
makes me happy.
Dead by Daylight, I would think. No?
This is a weird
RE
list.
Village.
Left 4 Dead?
See,
Back
it's
for
crazy.
Blood.
These are all the things.
Back 4 Blood? No.
Back 4 Blood didn't keep up there, no.
The
No.
Game Awards Game of the Year.
Oh, It Takes Two.
number 19.
Whoa.
Okay.
So at
Just a
least
weird
made the 20,
list.
which is nice.
Nice.
Because I saw a lot of people being like, that one Game of the Year, I don't understand. And, coming from a perspective of somebody who hasn't played it, and it's like, if you dig into those people, there's not a lot of people who have played the whole thing who are like, well, like,
Right.
that people generally digged it. Number 20 is Aventura Copulululi Albastru Siurat.
Okay.
I love that one.
Yeah. I always get it wrong. Toutou? Tohu?
Oh. Tohu?
Mystia's Izakaya
Okay.
from them. Webbed, number 17. Clone Drone in the Danger Zone, number 16.
That's
This is a
hilarious.
weird list.
This is a weird list.
What the hell?
It should just be like most played. Like most hours played
Yeah.
should be the list.
But these are all separate lists.
This is a
so again,
weird
if
algorithm.
you go to this site that specifically tracks this stuff, this is
Yeah.
this is what Steam values. This
Is
is what they
Farming
value.
Simulator on that list?
Sure.
I wish it was. Power
gosh.
Wash Simulator is though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
How high do you
had
think
those.
that got?
really high. That was huge in the summer.
8.
7.
Wow.
You beat. They're going to go higher than that. Psychonauts 2 got 15.
Oh,
feels good.
nice.
Yeah, not just getting good word of mouth, but
Even with
people on
Game
Steam
Pass.
being curious about it. And I wonder if that was just obviously very, very centralized towards the end of the year. Dorfromantic?
Oh, yeah, shit. I played that.
That's a name that seems familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and Todd played that,
I
right?
did an episode on that.
Yeah, it's been in early access forever and just
I didn't
came
know
out
it was
this year,
that
right?
popular. That's cool.
Inscription, number 12.
Nice.
Valheim 13 and Inscription 12. So yeah, wanted to get the later 10 so we could get Inscription, Valheim,
So is
Psychonauts, and all
Loop
of that
Hero
in
in
there.
there somewhere?
Loop Hero is not in here.
Oh.
I recognize one game. Oh no, sorry, 2. No, 3. Power Wash Simulator was 1. I
In the
recognize
top
number
10, you
1.
mean?
Number 11 is Before Your Eyes,
Oh,
which I
shit,
have heard
yeah.
about.
Oh, wow.
I did an episode on that, too.
Number 10 is Word Game
Before Your
Episode
Eyes.
0.
10 out of 10.
Before Your Eyes is great.
Number 9 is Tiny Bunny.
Okay.
Number 8 is Townscraper.
Townscaper.
Oh.
I've done an episode on that
Yeah.
one.
Oh, I've been playing Townscraper. That's the problem.
Townscaper
Seven's Power
that,
Wash.
Timescaper that or Townscaper that high is funny because it's like it's
Yeah.
kind of just like a clicker. It's like a idle game or not.
Yeah.
Cookie
it's more of a
clicker.
design game than a game.
Number 5.
Cookie clicker.
Cookie Clicker.
That's
They
insane.
put out that
Wow.
remaster, that's right.
That's insane.
Cookie Clicker.
I lost a good month of my life to Cookie Clicker when it first came out back in the day.
Nice.
Could not stop clicking.
Number 6, The Room 4, Old Sins. The
Oh,
Room is
fun.
definitely
That
a
thing's still
puzzle
going.
series. Yeah. Still going. Number 4, Firework.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, The Rhythm Doctor.
All right.
Number 2, Dyson Sphere program.
Whoa.
Okay.
And number 1, Tabs, totally accurate battle simulator, which I must. Somebody's got to heard of this. So
I've
you've seen
heard
footage
of
of
it.
this.
Totally,
Yeah, yeah.
totally, yeah.
But I'm
good.
trying to
I'm
remember.
happy
Insane.
the Tabs made it
But
up there.
that's a weirdo list.
Weird list.
Very weird.
Most played and trending make way more
Most
sense.
played, please. Most hours.
Dota 2, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, New World, Team Fortress 2, Destiny 2, Rust, Apex.
I guess that's not fun because it's all the usual
Yeah,
suspects.
That list will be the same list
Yeah.
next year with like
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
new
Two
thing.
hanging in there, baby. Never
Sands
dying.
of Salazar is the #1 trending game, but that's in the last 7 days. Great. This is a cool website.
Shout out.
Lots of other ways you can sort that. And again, it's not just a bunch of different lists. If you want to filter it in fun ways, you can go do that. But if you want the raw list, that is the 20. Take it or leave it.
Nice.
A weird list. And now, a word from our sponsors. If you dread looking at your credit card statements, you're not alone. The weight of debt can be crippling, but Upstart can help you on your path to financial freedom. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan all online, whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses. Over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Rather than looking at a credit score alone, Upstart considers other factors like your income, current employment, and credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes. You can do this. If there was a clock that I was timing, if there was a record for the Easy Allies podcast for how fast it is to do something, this was because you always kind of want to be like, oh yeah, is it that fast? It was faster than I expected. You can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting the loan. For loans between $1,000 to $50,000. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies. Don't forget to use our URL so they know that we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/easyallies. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like leaving your keys in your car while you run to the gas station for a snack. Most of the time, you're probably fine. But what if you come back to see someone driving off with your car? I feel like I should have like a trench coat and like an almost done, like cigar. What if you come
I
back?
saw somebody do that with like a yellow Ferrari the other day. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, cafe, hotels, airports, and any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data, passwords, financial details, etc. We like to use ExpressVPN because we like to gain access to things that are in other regions. We are of the world here at Easy Allies, and so we like to access things that we are paying for. Gosh darn it,
The
that are
Great
available
British
to
Bake
other
Off
people.
Stand Up to Cancer specials.
Go, lock it in.
Can't watch them in America. Gotta use ExpressVPN.
But anything you can do to make it harder to steal your data is a bonus. It's nice because this was the first thing that we talked about when we brought in ExpressVPN as sponsors, and it's just nice to bonus. Fire up the app, click one button and get protected. Phones, laptops, tablets, and more, so you can stay secure on the go. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/allies. That's expressvpn.com/allies, and you can get an extra 3 months for free. expressvpn.com/allies. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you.
The recent app events on SteamDB are hilarious. They're
App events?
yeah, it's just like, hey, the game was uploaded. Makes you realize there are way more sex games on Steam than you think there are.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like 100
Oh, yeah.
games come out a day.
Oh yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
every second. It's
That's
crazy.
why I stopped using GameFAQs to look for release dates, because when you get to PC, it's just like, here's a flood of hentai games. I'm like, okay, I don't want to filter through this.
So if you've been waiting for Mommy
hentai
Goddess of
flood.
Unconditional Love, wow, you sure gave it your all out there.
Yep.
You're in luck. It's on there.
Good.
And they would literally just be called like hentai puzzle or something like
Right.
that.
Hentai puzzle.
This one is just called Bikini Tits.
Wait, are you serious?
Well, now I have a visual.
My God.
I know. Pretty intense.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla got a heck of a DLC update.
And so did Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
And yes, so does Assassin's Creed. Well, I don't know. Did Odyssey get the same sized one that Valhalla got? Or obviously Valhalla is the place you
Well,
want to
there's
be
two different things
to
we're
check out the
talking
new
about here.
content.
There's numerous things. We're talking about the crossover stories or
Right.
the Dawn of Ragnarok.
Let's talk about crossover stories first.
Loving this. I'm almost done with Valhalla 1. I did the Odyssey one. It was such a trip installing in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This like 4-year-old game. It's almost 2022, and I'm over here playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Gotcha.
It was just such a unique experience. It was obviously very MCU vibes of like, how are we gonna connect? Everything's gotta connect. Because that's the world we live in now, where everything connects.
Doesn't Assassin's Creed connect though? They always have.
But 2 protagonists have never been in the same scene together.
Oh, okay.
Ever. Except Ezio and Altair. They're not really occupying the same space.
Got it.
Unless you count as bones. But the
Spoilers, damn.
Odyssey the Odyssey quest is so cool because it's like basically an epilogue to Assassin's Creed Odyssey where Cassandra wants to go on vacation. She's like, all right, I did everything.
You're right.
100 hours, whatever. Like, I'm going to this island, and there's like a full-on new island with 3 zones in it.
Wow.
So it's like this small, self-contained story.
Is this a different menu option, or do they yell at you when you boot up the open world? Or
They let you know. They're like, yo, a new quest is here, or whatever. And then 2 returning characters come, and they're kind of your guides. You know, you're going on a vacation. And it basically sets up Cassandra's role in the larger universe without giving away spoilers at all. Basically sets up, what she's up to. And then when you finish that, it's like MCU style, so-and-so will return in the Avengers. It's like Cassandra will return in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What's hilarious, too, is Ubisoft, you finish it, it immediately takes you to the store to buy Valhalla. Just
it's like a demo.
Yeah, yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, but I was actually really impressed because, a big complaint of Assassin's Creed is they're always too long, so it was nice to play a bite-sized chunk.
So they are set up like in a progression, so you're supposed to play the Odyssey one first and then play the Valhalla one?
Yeah, you
Okay.
absolutely. I just assumed because Odyssey is before, so I just assumed that was the correct order.
It seems kind of like a double-edged sword because if they make short content for Valhalla, people are like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not interested. If they make something that's too big, it's like, not again.
Yeah.
I just finished this thing.
Yeah.
It's just the whole
never
prospect.
ends.
But I bring it up in this podcast because I need details, and this seems like something Assassin's Creed hasn't done before. It seems like something that is just not common with DLC.
It seems like a prototype for what Infinity's going to be. Just these small-scale crossover-style stories with, self-contained zones. You can just make, a new one of these all the time. It feels like that feels like where they're going to go with it. I just really loved being Cassandra again. She's probably my favorite protagonist now in the entire franchise. I cannot say enough good things about her. So it was just nice to be able to, be with her again. It was so comforting, so soothing to just be like, dude, Cassandra's back. Yes. So I just imagine them being able to do that with other characters too. We haven't
Right, like
seen,
Alexios.
or sure, or I don't know, or Edward Kenway, or
No, like Alexia, like her brother, right? Wasn't it you could play as her or you could play as Alexios?
yeah, I don't apparently you can do this as Alexios,
Yeah.
but then on the PS blog post, it was there was in parentheses you start as him, but then you're just Cassandra or something.
I
don't really
think
know.
that if you played as Alexios, they basically still let you do it in Odyssey.
Yeah.
But then in Valhalla, it's only
They don't
Cassandra.
reference you
Yeah.
in the okay. All right.
Super weird because
We'll get correction on that.
because for Odyssey it doesn't even tell you this is the canon one, whereas Valhalla does. Valhalla is very clearly female Eivor, male, whatever, no spoilers. But it's this is the default choice, whereas Odyssey is just choose. So it does feel kind of alienating if you chose.
And if they want to
Alexios,
infinite, if
for
they want to
sure.
Avengers up, with this franchise, are you going to be able to choose, or are you just going to kind of make a lore decision on each of those things, or?
What I really want to drive home too with this Odyssey one is it's still not difficult. You can still mash your way through, but they find really creative ways to make you have to be sneaky again. There were some parts in where I actually died once, and I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I died. Yes.
Cut your review. I saw you die many times. Stop it.
Trying to capture is different because I'm distracted with that. But I
trying out different weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as like Assassin's Creed gameplay goes, these did not reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new. This is exactly what you expect. This is not going to bring lapsed players back or players that are not super invested in either the main narrative or the characters that they're about. But as someone who's like sickeningly invested in this overall narrative and Cassandra, like I loved my time with this. I absolutely loved it. And now I'm halfway through the Valhalla one. And that's just cool too. Cause it's like, oh, there she is now. Hundreds of years later. Like really, and their exchanges too are really fun. Eivor and Cassandra. It's a really good time. I'm having a blast.
It is tempting for me, somebody who I believe promised you on several occasions that I was not going to be playing any DLC for this game, just to save time. It's tempting. On March 10th, we get Dawn of Ragnarok.
Yeah, this one doesn't really hype me up at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This one I'm not super hyped on.
It does sound like the first chapter. Dawn of is always like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, we had that huge arc in Valhalla. God of War Ragnarok is coming. That's got all my Viking hype and focus.
There's so much limit.
We had what is that? The game last year they had Gods and Monsters, but now it has a new name.
Immortals.
Immortals, Phoenix Rising. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it kind of gives me those vibes in a strange way.
Oh, yeah. And that was the Odyssey team, They were like, oh, cool, we get to make the same game but not take it seriously this time. Great.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
I'm not too hyped on this one. I'm sure they'll find ways to make the canon matter because the Valhalla, right?
Yeah. Just the description
Ragnarok?
of this game
Oh my God.
or this
Yeah.
DLC is
Yeah.
like a spoiler.
Yeah, the Valhalla
It's
stuff.
so funny.
That stuff in Valhalla had huge implications for the overall narrative.
Oh, yeah.
So I imagine we're gonna get more of that, but it also feels kind of removed from everything. Like it feels like it matters the most, but it's also the most removed. So it's this weird kind of.
Yeah, 2.5 minute CG trailer for all this, dude. Like, it just,
Yeah.
I bring this up. Been very quiet. I appreciate that, Brett.
would just
but I
be
bring this
terrible.
up. I know I bring this up on the podcast because it is very specific.
Yeah.
Like lots of DLC and lots of stuff gets announced. 2.5 minute CG trailer. And Infinite feels like it's so far away. I wonder if they're gonna drag Valhalla out. I wonder if we're gonna get lots of big
That's been
chunky
incredibly
updates
popular
for this.
too.
Or
These
yeah.
crossover stories were free, which was amazing. Like the quality on display there for free content was like, yo, yes. Like,
announced
I
the day
could-
before too. They announced on the 13th. So tomorrow,
Yeah.
jump in, play games, or play new missions.
Yeah, this Ragnarok one's $40, so huge, a lot more pressure, a lot more stakes there because it's a $40 purchase. It feels like it's going to be a Valhalla 1.5 situation. But yeah, maybe just because it was only a CG trailer and because I thought that part in the main game dragged on so much that's I'm not really hyped for that. But we'll see when it gets closer. See some gameplay. I did see a picture of him like riding an elephant. Like a war elephant.
That's cool.
A little Return of the King 2 Towers
Definitely makes me think
situation.
of Ragnarok. Yeah,
Yeah.
elephants.
So
Couldn't do the big cat. I don't know. I just didn't want to go that far. Riding around Valhalla on a big cat.
yeah, but we'll see. The crossover stuff, loved it. So more of that Ubisoft, please.
Feels like right now, Square Enix is having a party, an Endwalker party, and they had to turn people away at the door. People are just showing up now. It's like 2 a.m. I was just thinking we go over to Endwalker at the end of the night. Like, no, didn't you hear, man? That's
Cooler
not-
Mind Spider-Man
No,
tickets
dude.
tonight. Yo, you
Yeah.
got tickets for that?
No.
It's a very good analogy.
It's so
because it is like
We're full.
we've got
Capacity.
people lined up down the block. The cops are calling us. You're getting on our case. We can't stop selling tickets.
Yeah.
Stop selling tickets. Take the posters down. Stop selling tickets.
New World's like that restaurant that's open till 3 a.m. You're like, I guess we'll just go get a burger. Is this a good? So Huber over here just playing any Assassin's Creed game he wants. You want to play 14
did,
so bad, and
yeah.
sometimes you just can't. Have you been? How many hours have you stared at a screen trying to play Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker?
2?
Yeah?
I think it was the most I did.
Wow.
You just did something else with your day? Where
Yeah,
the times you just queued in, you're like, all right, not now.
I played RE4 VR when I was in queue.
That's a good call. It's a good call. Ooh, I'm going to Florida. I didn't grab
Were you
that for you.
like-
I get.
Before I
Oh,
left.
Every
Get
once
that
in
when I
a
get back.
while, would you like peek to see your key?
Oh yeah, because there was disconnects. It would
Right.
disconnect you sometimes, so I'd have to keep an eye on it.
So they knew, Square knew they were going to have issues
Yes.
with this. They talked well beforehand. They've, I think, really been spreading out a lot of goodwill just in terms of how they talk
Yeah.
about other companies in the space, how they talk about expectations for online games in general. And there were server issues at launch. They were handing out free free game time for people. It has gotten so intense that they have suspended sales of the starter edition and complete edition of Final Fantasy XIV. You can't.
And
no.
suspended like future advertising, I believe, also.
Yeah, any advertising that they can not
Do.
they're
Yeah.
not doing. There's a few deals that they can't do anything about, but yeah.
They can't like buy some more. Like, just build it.
Well,
buy
it's like
another
chip
server?
shortages and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's holding it back.
Got
They've
it.
been trying to adjust the
For a
issue
long
since
time.
the summer.
Those
yeah.
damn NFTs and
They
cryptos.
stop, yeah.
Well,
Well, that's.
But I mean, for real.
I mean,
it
'cause-
really is. Like,
there are times in in this business, primarily on this podcast, where like we talk about things and I'm like, I really want to cover this and it's fascinating. I think it'll be a good conversation, but yikes, this is not my genre, my company, I don't speak this language. Whenever we talk about servers for MMOs going down, who's the expert? Who's the person that's in the gaming space, that's in a community or whatever, that's like, well, I've launched an MMO for millions of people, and when I did it, it
Right.
went fine.
yeah, and Huber, what they're talking about is like not just like adding servers. They're talking about adding data centers. They're like talking about getting buildings and filling them with servers.
Yeah.
Some Matrix shit.
Watch
Like,
Dogs Legion,
It's,
dude.
yeah, it's huge.
Drone protected, chilled. But what is this? This is where you want to be, right, Brad? This is good
For the
good,
company?
right?
Oh, yeah. It's like the most profitable thing for them ever.
I once saw this GIF one time of Miyamoto and Iwata holding the DS, and it was just shooting out dollar bills, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that what they're doing right
Yeah.
now, or do you think they're stressed? Or do you
I think the team
specifically
is very
the Endwalker team's
So
like, no.
yes, they're very stressed. They are very apologetic about all these delays. Like when they had to delay the game by like 2 weeks, the director Naoki Yoshida was like crying because he doesn't want to let down the fans. He said this game is his life work essentially. So he lives and breathes this game with all his heart. So it's killing them. They're really happy they're succeeding, but they want this game to be the best. They don't want to let down their fans.
It's really crazy to think about it when you're playing that it's like someone's life's work.
Yeah.
You know, that had some weight.
That's why
'Cause,
people
like, with-
love this game and
Yeah.
this community. It's because they're so upfront about everything. You feel like you're talking to a real human,
Yeah.
and not like someone trying to dupe you.
Not
about
some
anything.
algorithm.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
even Disneyland closes for 10 hours. This thing's all the time, every hour of
Yeah.
every day, and countries around the world. So is this just? Does this feel like a new thing for MMOs for someone who's played a lot of different MMOs? Is this like this is getting out of
just
control?
keeps growing.
And if they literally can't allow you to buy the game, it's like we've hit
Yeah,
the
that's
we,
pretty
we,
gnarly.
we
That's
hit
pretty
the
wild.
limit. I guess I don't know how much more we can represent that this game is being played by people.
The fact that it's like 10 years into its life cycle and it's like the most popular it's ever been is pretty insane. Because think about World of Warcraft, like Wrath of the Lich King, I think is the peak of that game in players, and it's going
Rolling
down
into
since that.
Cataclysm, Cataclysm was a big. deal.
Yeah, but it's like it's the most popular it's ever been this far in its life cycle. It's great from a game that almost killed the entire company to become like the most powerful thing they have is insane. It's a great problem to have. Feels good.
What do you think if this takes a while? What do you think the attitude will be like going into the next whatever they're talking about? Like
I think they're gonna be, like-
expansion 4 with the brand new thing. You're
They're
like,
going to
well,
be much more.
I'm just gonna play something
upfront
else.
about this. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, this
Because it's hard to
community's-
point fingers.
That's,
like this,
that's one of the funny things that I've thought about because of the way Endwalker is like closing out this whole storyline, this whole decade, and it just feels like, well, then I guess the next step means that like you're going to create an expansion of some sort that anyone can just jump into without playing the prior stuff.
Probably, yeah.
But now it's like, do you even need to appeal to new players?
yeah, no. What are you doing?
At this
Right,
point,
don't-
yeah.
yeah.
So
It's pretty crazy.
Build that gate higher than you've ever built
Mm-hmm.
it.
Barbed wire. Dude, Watch Dogs Legion. That's so funny,
It's the
Jones.
most, yeah.
My God.
It's crazy to me. It just I just don't know where the limit is, and it's I'm sure people are frustrated, but I don't see a lot of again blame. I don't see a lot of anger. I
Oh
don't see a lot of
yeah, I think
resentment
people are
and
pretty. They
negativity.
were really upfront about how there was going to be problems
Yeah.
for like a while. So people who like paid attention, I guess, knew.
Mm-hmm.
And to someone who's played MMOs for a long time, this is not that unexpected for me
Yeah.
to experience this, but it still sucks if you want to play and you like can't.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to play, but I don't know. It'll get better. But good for them, man.
Yeah.
Making in the dough now.
Totally.
Yeah, it would seem kind of the sky's the limit. I always wonder like how, because I imagine what I can picture is a company that franchise doesn't do well, company doesn't do well, investments don't do well, and then they got to come, okay, we got to cut all these things from a game, or we can't release this game anymore. You ever have a game that like gets more money? That like halfway through development. I mean, obviously there's like investments. Like companies have gotten capital, but usually it's before they're even thinking about what game they want to make. It's like we joke about Mario Kart 7. It's like, why make Mario Kart 8? Like, why? What rush are they in, Brad? Do you think
Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 9, you mean?
Mario Kart 9, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just keep, it's just
Well,
going to keep
the thing
printing
about
money.
Endwalker is it's like, or Final Fantasy 14 is like, yes, it's a MMO, but it's a Final Fantasy game first. The most. And it's honestly one of the best Final Fantasies ever, with one of the best stories ever. And they have plans, Jones. Like, they have a story they want to tell. It's not like Mario Kart, you just go in there having a few laughs with your friends. Like, no, they have a tale they want to tell. So that's going to keep it going.
Yeah. I'm kind of tempted to bring it up. Damiani's last line in his review was so funny. It's just like, it's I mean, I'll paraphrase it, but it's like, don't play this game at your own peril, basically. You have yourself to blame, if you're missing out on the story. And it's like, what else can a person tell you?
Yeah.
And then somebody watches that review and goes, fine, I'm doing it. Where do I buy it?
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
Gotta
Not
wait.
yet.
Not now. When do you think
Next
it'll
year.
be back? Next year, you think? Over the holidays? No, it's probably
Yeah, it's going to be next year.
Probably, yeah.
Wow. Interesting to follow that expansion next year. Also this week, Activision wrote a letter to their employees advising them not to unionize, which is I've seen online a fairly common thing. It's just kind of your due diligence. It's your fiduciary duty as the company to be like, we don't like that. IGN reported a ton of stories of abuse and crunch at Bungie. That was on the 10th, and their head of HR stepped down. So again, a lot of this is just reports, but
Bungie now? When
the
did
head of
this happen?
HR, has stepped down. Hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. But
Yeah, I feel like hard to keep up is the right way because I haven't
That's
read
what
all this stuff, but I thought that this is an evolving thing to where like there was all this stuff and then they've actually been getting better. But
Right.
I don't know if I'm mishearing that. I have to read the actual reports. So it's almost like we're finding out about this
Later.
later, but
Yeah.
that's just again I need to actually read it. So.
And Activision's playing that card too, where they're like, oh no, we're totally different now. It's like, no, 2 weeks ago you didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's hard to get the timeline there of like when should we take action now or what? But the head of HR stepped down. Beastbreaker developer Vodio Games. I'm not familiar with Beastbreaker or Vodio Games.
This
Unionized.
Is my friend.
Yeah.
They unionized. First game union in North America.
Whoa.
They did it.
Whoa, nice.
Crazy.
Precedent.
My shout out, my friend Asher. This is his company, and Beastbreaker is really cute. I think that maybe the graphic style made people not interested in it because I mean personally I think it looks a little cheap maybe when you first glance at it, but like I've played it and it's fun. It's out, you can get it, but like yeah, I mean he's my friend, but that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild. He made Threes, if you've heard of that on phones.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie's coming to the Switch expansion pack in January
Very curious
for the Nintendo 64.
for those side-by-side comparisons
Yeah.
between that and Rare Replay.
Yep.
Because Rare went out of their way
Yeah.
to get a lot of experts to like get that emulator right for
right.
the N64.
Do you want me to spoil it for you? It's not gonna look. No, I'm just kidding. It's not gonna
No,
look.
but that's
good.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yeah. I don't know if Digital Foundry has been kind of hands off with the expansion pack stuff, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see like what it will be like, considering all the controversy that's had already. So.
Ringu, aka the Ring, is coming to Dead by Daylight. It's Samara in the Ring. What is her name in Ringu? The girl.
Just watched it this year too.
They say it in the sequels too. I've heard.
They didn't specifically say that she's coming
Becky.
though, right? They just talked
Well, I
about
mean,
the
she's-
franchise.
Sadako Yamamura?
There you go, Sadako. Yeah. Creepy.
Also known as Park En-soo, maybe? And Samara Morgan?
Samara is the one
Samara
in
is
the US.
the US one.
Valkyrie Entertainment is joining the PlayStation Studios family. Takanobu Terada, producer of Super Robot Wars, has left Bandai Namco freelancing. New PS5 console covers and DualSense wireless controller colors arrive next month.
Finally,
Which
this
we knew,
thing's
finally.
revealed.
That
It's
writing was on the
interesting.
wall.
Yeah.
This is the start. So like people are like, "Are you gonna get one?" And like, number one, like I looked at them and like, there's none of them that I'd really want, especially not for $55.
I was wondering how much they were. It didn't say.
Yeah, I've seen 55 is the number.
So many people are going to break their PS5. Not
don't-
like it's not going to work, but they're going to crack their.
No, there'll be
things for them.
instructions for how that stuff works.
They
And
did
they're
in
going to
that
crack
video.
them.
Yeah.
They did in the video, and they were like, "It's very easy for the consumer to remove."
Oh,
it, blah,
yeah.
blah,
There's a hole on there for you to vacuum out the dust or something too.
blah." Yeah.
But this is what we're gonna get instead of
New
collector's
console.
edition consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get faceplates, and like I love my Alan Wake faceplate on my Xbox 360.
That's a flex.
Get that
Yeah.
Alan Wake too.
That was a
I had
humble
that
brag.
thing on my 360
Wow.
for years before I played the game
I'm
Heber.
so jealous.
Because it just looked that good.
Sick.
That's funny.
That's so sick, blood.
I'm glad I'm liking Halo Infinite because having the Halo
Right.
Xbox
Yeah.
was
that
So
was the
clean.
front. That was the
I
front of the
hated the game.
360,
So
where you got to have
clean.
the whole side of the PS5. To
Yeah.
show.
Right.
both
So they're
sides.
gonna be able to like it's basically just it's a big canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big canvas to put whatever you want on there.
To put your
Still big God of
your
War.
greasy black handprints all over it.
I do want a purple controller, but I'm on the fence of like whether actually
I want the blue one.
Yeah, the
man.
purple's nice.
they don't have a blue one.
Yeah, it's like a turquoise blue color.
Oh, the light blue. Yeah. I forget what they call it, aquamarine
yeah,
or something.
But
Yeah.
it's sweet. Purple's
But-
nice too, though.
Want
How
a
many?
Kingdom Hearts one.
Me too.
How many total? Do you know?
Just like
Just ballpark, like
purple.
White,
is it like
red,
3 or 10 or?
like
white,
4?
red, blue, pink.
There's 5
purple.
new colors
Oh.
for the faceplates, but
Got it.
2 of the controllers are already out.
black and
Yeah, black and red.
red. Yeah.
Just let me make
So-
folders on the dashboard, please.
I'm looking now so we can just.
My
not
God.
guess. Yeah, there's the white that it comes with: black, pink, purple, blue, and red.
Cool. Call of Duty Warzone Pacific started the Ricochet process. They dropped the kernel in there for that to start, and they are going to bring that to Vanguard at a, quote, later date.
Excited to see how this plays out. I want to see. I
Yeah.
want to see the numbers.
Yeah. Like I want it to go well, but it's going to be
course.
it's going to be interesting. All versions of Halo still playable on Xbox 360 will lose online services on January 13th. Doesn't affect Master Chief Collection. Doesn't
yeah.
affect other things, specifically the 360 versions of those games. Scorn. Scorn. Original sponsor of this podcast. Finally launching on October 2022.
Hell yeah.
Of course. That
Really
better.
good day.
Yeah,
Wanna
talk
play
about
it.
a date you can't delay.
Really good day.
It would be unfortunate if it was delayed. Yeah. That's a good October game. Prey, not Prey, thanks Bethesda, For the Gods is finally out.
I was curious about this game.
Yeah. Bethesda shut down. It was
Sort
called
of
Prey.
Shadow of the Colossus, right?
Yeah.
Very shallow Colossus.
That's interesting considering Solar Ash just came out. Yeah.
Yes. But Solar Ash is pink. This is blue. This is dark blue. This is
Snow. God, it's like
Solar.
Vikings,
Yeah, Solar Ash is like
Northern
I have
Shadow
rollerblades.
Colossus.
This is I'm freezing. It's different.
Yeah.
Different vibe. But in a game I played at Judges Week, and I was like, "This is cool. This is gonna have a fun road to launch." And it's a bummer when it just boom, it's out.
Well,
Um,
and it was one of these weird things where
quick.
I felt like it was just in some like pocket dimension or something because
Multiverse.
I've never heard of this game before, and then I go and look it up. It's like, oh yeah, there's been all kinds of coverage of it.
I was
Why?
trying, I was
why
trying
have I
to
never
remember
heard of
if
it?
Too
I
many games.
backed this on Kickstarter, like 800 years ago.
The
I feel
live
like you've backed so many more things and forgotten about it.
Oh my God!
than
Like
I've
I
backed.
backed that Amori game, which was also in the indie
Oh, yeah.
thing, and I've never played it. I don't know.
Maury's got a wild trailer. Somebody pointed that out. That's
Oh,
a
that
pretty crack,
original
sorry.
trailer is crazy.
That's a fun one.
The song from it is so good.
The live-action Mega Man movie announced in 2018 is coming to Netflix. Picking it up. Not only original Netflix stuff, but the stuff that people are going to leave
Live
behind.
action Mega Man, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Woof.
Might as well try it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Sonic, we got Witcher.
Netflix?
Like Witcher's cool.
They just
Dude,
You
like,
never know.
That's
Robot
such a-
Masters and Wily and
such
like
a great experience.
imagine,
with
like,
Cowboy Bebop? They just had to do it with Mega Man too.
Yeah. Dude, imagine like sick robot practical effects. Like
it's not gonna be like that though.
one can hope. Bro.
Yeah.
I'm just
But-
trying to hope.
You're trying to hope, but I know what it's gonna be like, and it's not gonna be good.
Embracer Group bought French board game publisher Asmodee for $3.1 billion.
Jeez.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
Embracer Group, dude.
board games.
Organization 13.
Shout out. That it will be their, quote, 9th operating group.
Wow.
I don't know what they define as an operating group. 37th or 38th acquisition of the year. And they said they're going to do as many of those next year. Going for those board games, though, which, again, I normally was like, board games? We're bringing video game podcast. $3.1 billion.
It's nothing for Embracer Group. It's pocket change.
According to a recent interview, Keanu Reeves has 1, never played Cyberpunk 2077, and 2,
That is hilarious.
loves that people have tried to have sex with him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Carrie-Anne Moss was in the same interview, not as big of a fan of that technology, not as big of a fan of somebody trying to do that, but Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. And finally, Jeff Keighley announced Fortnite a decade ago.
Damn.
At the Video
I kinda
Game
remember that.
Awards on Spike. Didn't come out, announced it. What a decade it has been. Wow. Let's play a game! Ooh. From Next Gen Hef, hey allies, how well do you know your console icons? A few weeks ago, I saw a Love and Respect post in the timestamps named "How many console icons can you list?" which inspired me to come up with a game of the same name but with a twist. I will give you a console, and you have to name as many of the menu icons from memory as you can. On the
Like the literal little
Yes.
like, insignias?
they're all called something. If you go over all of the icons on a screen on the menu of each of these consoles, it's called something. And it'll take you somewhere. We're doing the top 3.
I'm
Number
still
1.
confused, but we'll see.
On the bottom of the Nintendo Switch main menu, there are 7 icons. For what?
Nintendo Online. Something.
Shop.
User. No,
Notifications.
Shop
News.
is third.
Notifications.
Yeah, news, then shop.
Mm-hmm.
The eShop. Then it's. What's next? Shoot.
Friends? No.
No, that's
Settings.
up in the top.
Settings.
is
Settings
toward
is definitely
the
out
right.
down
System
there.
settings is on the bottom.
And the home,
I don't think there's a home button.
there's like
Oh, gallery?
the sleep mode, the
Like
power.
Album.
albums?
Album.
Yeah,
Album,
albums.
yep.
What are the other
There's
ones?
2 others.
Yeah, you said power, like sleep
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, the
Sleep
power
mode?
button, sleep
Okay.
mode.
Yeah.
What's the
In between album and system settings.
Yeah, it's the middle one.
Is there updates or anything like that?
One of your favorite things to do, Bloodworth, controllers.
Oh, controller
Oh,
settings. Yeah.
Number 2, the Xbox Series X guide menu's default options have 6 icons on top and 5 on the bottom.
I've customized these, so there's no way.
Which one is it?
This is the Series X. 6 icons on
'Cause
top,
you've got
5 on
you've
the
got
bottom.
your profile,
File.
you've got your friends.
Capture on
Settings.
top. Capture settings.
Capture and share.
This menu is so confusing. I don't know what the
Yeah,
hell's
it's-
going on.
It's all over the place.
I'm like, where'd Forza go last night? I'm
Achievements?
like, what happened?
Game activity.
Sure.
So maybe it's in there.
On the top.
Yeah, all these are on the top. Notifications are
Did
on the
we
bottom.
say
which is sad.
Yeah.
settings?
Settings
Settings
are
is
not on
there.
there.
I don't-
Profiling
What?
system. Profiling system.
Profiling.
together.
yeah, I think
Okay.
settings
On
is
the top.
actually kind of buried.
Oh, okay.
Parties and chats is in the middle there. Home and people are the first 2 on the top.
Home and people.
On the bottom is notifications and 4 more. The second one is something that Xbox loves a lot.
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass.
There you go.
Oh, and volume.
Audio and music is the
Audio,
last
yeah.
one.
I
It's
in
fiddle
there?
with that all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
The middle one is the store, and the 4th one is something that what's that online? So I can't do the joke if I don't know the service. Stadia didn't have for a long time.
A search bar?
Yes.
Users?
Oh, search.
Boom.
And finally, on the PlayStation 5, when you tap the PlayStation button, 15 icons pop up on the bottom.
Game base.
Those are also
Game-based notifications, download.
You can custom-
Switcher.
customizable, yeah.
Switcher.
Yeah.
Friends.
Your profile's down there, or is it
There's
above?
definitely a
Power.
The power.
There's a home button on that one, isn't there?
Music.
Music, yeah, music.
What the hell?
Because you can do Spotify or
There's
whatever.
no, like,
you can-
devices
you
or
can
something
cast
on
Spotify
there?
too.
The controller icon.
Yeah.
There's a sound one? Is there a sound one?
Yeah, sound and mic are separate.
Sound and mic. Oh, there are 2 of them?
There's like an accessibility one, right?
Accessibility,
Yeah.
accessories. This is a separate one.
The blades. Did we do that? That's the like switcher,
Blades.
right? The switcher in the game base has
Game
that.
base, yeah.
Game base, we said, yeah.
Game.
Broadcast
All right.
and profile and power. Oh, and VR's got its own thing.
Weird.
And I think the one I go to more than anyone on this list, other than notifications when we're streaming, and I never get notifications that one of you wants to play with me, and because it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And downloads, uploads all the time.
Oh yeah.
I love a good multi-download list. I'll just
Yeah.
put that up there and stare at it while I work on something else.
Same.
It is time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
From Rahul Masal. With the new PS5 plates announced, it reminded me of when my brother and I got a special R2-D2 Xbox 360
I
that
remember
came with the
that.
Kinect
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars. It even made R2-D2 noises when you turned it on or put in a disc. What have been your favorite custom or special console variations? Other than Alan Wake, obviously. Big impact.
I mean, I like my Halo one.
Yeah, I like how it's Halo.
It makes a different startup noise. Also, I'd never.
There
I didn't
have
realize.
been little honesty here from Jones, okay? I've really tried to be a team player, okay? I've really tried to help out with this company.
Oh, this is
Add game
Spider-Man.
trailers here and Easy Allies. But every now and then, no, Spider-Man's good. It was also funny when I grabbed Arkham City and got a phone call while I was on the way home, and they were like, oh, can you bring that back to the office? And I was like, ooh, I gotta go, sorry. And they were like, oh, okay, I was gonna get some more footage tonight for the review. And I was like, yeah, sorry, going home, playing Arkham City. I don't know what, I think this is for Battlefront 2.
The Vader?
We got a Vader PS4.
I remember this.
That came with a Vader controller.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I even told any of you it arrived. Like gone. I literally was like, cool, thank you. And I think it was like we all had PS4s. There wasn't like an issue of like having it.
Right.
It's still in my house. It's still happening. Anybody wants it now?
Sick.
The
I
Vader
definitely don't
PS4.
have a
Vader's
lot
on the
of-
front and all the controllers, all his buttons.
I don't have a lot of them because early adopter, but I do have a Halo original Xbox.
Oh,
Oof,
The
nice.
kind of see-through
Wow.
green one, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a special console.
I've
like
never had a
this.
special console except the 3DS.
You did, yeah.
The
Wait, you had
Ze-
the Wii U one too, didn't you?
No, just I had the normal Wii.
You
U.
bought a Wii U you had the Zelda gamepad, right? Because you bought it for Wind Waker. Pretty sure you did.
You know I trust him
I think
way
so.
more than I trust
think you do. Because I remember I was pissed twice.
I know for a fact I have.
Because you've been getting all the
Zelda
Zelda shit, and
3DS,
I've
yeah.
never had them.
Dude, I might actually have.
Yeah, I
a
think you
Wii
do.
U.
My-
Oh my god.
My wife has a Famicom-themed Game Boy Advance.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
Really
cool.
cool colors, yeah.
They made some.
I
And-
wound up with our Smash Bros themed
3DS?
3DS that I think
Yeah.
I've used like 3 times.
That's
Nice.
funny.
Hey.
There's but in terms of like all-time thing, one thing that popped in my head, it's kind of hideous, but it's still funny. The Pikachu N64.
Oh, man.
There's a big old plastic Pikachu on
Yeah.
the side of it.
Yeah. I didn't remember that.
From Dustin McNabb. A few weeks ago, you were talking about Arcane on Netflix, and a week before that, and a week before that. And I got the impression that some people dismissed the show at first because they had a bad experience playing League of Legends. I used to play League and quit for similar reasons, but I've been playing Riot's Legends of Runeterra since its beta, and I love it. It's a great strategy card game, extremely free-to-play friendly, doesn't have any of the toxicity League is known for. Could it be that some people haven't given the card game a chance because they had a bad experience with League? What do you think Riot can do to overcome this perception as they branch out in other genres and mediums?
I mean, they
They
are
did
doing it. They are doing it.
Yeah, they already did it with Arcane and that Rune King game.
Did they overcome the
Yeah.
perception that
100%.
mean
There's
people
another
play
game
their
that
game?
came out alongside of those too, right?
Oh, that makes
It's basically
this
toxicity that League of Legends permeates their number one game.
That's just a MOBA thing, I think.
I
Yeah,
think they're on
that's
their way
MOBA.
though. Like
yeah.
definitely Arcane is a whole other
Yeah.
I turned on Arcane without knowing it was a League of Legends thing because I saw
Mm-hmm.
a poster while driving and I was like, those chicks look cool. And so like, yeah, it's happening.
but there was no player
Yeah.
engagement. So like if
Right.
they make any of these, and I mean Riot's making a lot of different crazy
Right.
games. One of them's the Rune King's on my desktop right now. I'm going to jump into it over the holidays. But do you think that's an issue holding them back, and is that something they're addressing, or is that like one of the biggest battles?
I don't think it's holding them back.
I don't either.
no.
It
League
should,
of
though,
Legends
maybe?
is
I don't
still
know.
huge.
Yeah. I do
Huge.
feel like there's definitely like what they're saying. There's like there's you're in or you're out kind of a mentality with it, to where like as soon as somebody finds like, oh, that's the League of Legends thing, it's like okay,
Well,
I'm out. But
I'm hard out for League, but I'm 100% in for Arcane.
Yeah.
And the Rune King, I'm very intrigued by because I love Battle Chasers Night War.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just like changing up the genre is, I think it can exist within League and
Yeah. And they got like TFT and all that stuff. They have like a ton of games, and their fighting game coming out. It's like they're already doing it.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of their trailers too have been just this kind of weird thing to where like you can enjoy this trailer
Yeah.
and feel no connection or attachment to League of Legends, but
Yeah.
hey, that was a cool trailer.
I will say I actually have like read blogs and followed some of the people at Riot specifically in charge of advertising all of this stuff, and like they're doing such a good job. It's
They're
like
doing a really good
they have such a great perspective on understanding. Like we know people hate this genre, or we know people are gonna think this when we announce it, and so we want to get way out ahead of that. And they had so many across all of these other games that they've announced. So my impression of Riot's changed a lot in the last couple of years. It's a complicated company.
Yeah, they got an MMO coming.
Yeah.
They got why can't I think of the FPS right now? It's lost my brain. Came out recently. Valorant. Yep. They got they got a ton of stuff. A ton.
Something told me Valorant wasn't them. My
Is
brain's like
Valorant?
Valorant. It's like they're gonna laugh at me if I say
them.
that.
Or is that in the League universe as well?
I don't think so.
I think Valorant might be outside the universe, but
it.
like all the other
Who
ones.
the
are?
hell knows?
Got
Could
it.
connect.
It's all
You just-
connected.
You
I'm
make a
curious.
damn portal in one of the games
Yeah.
and alternate universe. There you go.
Honestly.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
From Nick Gothic, your favorite music album, or one of your favorites, has now been adapted into a video game. It can be down to the minute details of entailing the music artist into your game, or translating the imagery of the album artwork, or just translating the general vibe and tone of it. What does it look like? Personally, I always liked fantasizing about King Crimson albums as a series of really eccentric hack-and-slash action games, kind of like Devil May Cry dealt with themes of monarchy and impending modernism. Or I imagine the early Yes albums like Chrono Trigger-style SNES RPGs.
Wow.
What about you? Love and respect.
I actually discovered one of my favorite artists through a video game, Ho Hokum. It's basically like a music game. You like fly around and do little puzzles to the music, and like Taiko is in that game, heavily featured. So it's kind of like the opposite, the inverse
Oh, wow.
of like Because I'm like so busy with like movies and video games that like music has always been way lower on my list. So I'm never like super invested in music.
Definitely albums. Like in the 21st century, it's like if a track is good off of an album, but the knowledge that album came out. That being said, I do love Yellow Submarine and like a Sgt. Pepper's just
Dude,
game.
Jones nailed
A
it.
Sgt. Pepper's game
There
that
you
makes
go.
no sense at
There you
all.
go.
Where you're just flying around Pepperland
Yeah.
in the submarine, like what?
In
just
Abbey Road beat 'em up.
Yeah. It's just on the street. It's just on that block. It's like the F-Zero track. You got cars come by, you got to jump out of the way.
Oh my god! And because like there are so many when you make music, there are so many companies that market like the Abbey Road reverb, like the Abbey Road thing, like that we've
Wow.
emulated the Abbey Road sound or whatever. But like it'd be really funny if all the punch sound effects have like they're processed with all the Abbey Road like
Yeah.
effects and stuff. Like the reverb is the Abbey Road reverb.
Yes.
That'd be funny.
It's like Nick, you're so creative, and I love this. But like Fortnite's doing this in like a year. Like this is the thing we're gonna look back on this question and be like,
Yeah.
that was the Chrono Trigger crossover with Yes in Fortnite. That went well. That was really good. I played that. That was fun.
Jeez.
We got to figure out who's gonna wrap up this podcast.
All
So to
right.
do that, we have to play Ore Wars. Join us, leave your fields to flower. Join us, leave your cheese to sour. Join us, come and waste an hour or two. Doodly-doo, journey to a spottic, sighting, mystic and exotic. Journey through our Ore Wars.
I forgot. It's been so long.
Who's going first?
Blood's going first.
Oh yeah, I got.
Okay,
How this
I'm
is
Blood's
done.
going
Blood's
first.
going first.
How's this done again?
Yeah, Blood's first.
GameStop stock or Ubisoft NFTs?
Oh, GameStop stock.
Why?
Because even though it should have completely crashed by now, it is just
Yeah.
continuing to get people
Real
going
value.
in on that meme stock. It just keeps happening. And Ubisoft had to pull their trailer because it was so disliked. The NFTs themselves can't be too far behind.
All right. Who's next?
Mike is.
The Flash or Quicksilver?
The Flash. The Flash. Love the Flash. It's anytime you can have a character that makes you question Superman's abilities, that is saying something. That deserves respect.
Who's next?
I'll follow that.
Slayer or Capture the Flag?
Ooh.
The Band
Easy.
Slayer?
No.
This
So
is
the
easy.
mode? I mean, for me, it's capture the flag because I can feel like I can contribute more.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so funny how
Teamwork.
you have those moments in Capture the Flag where it just feels like nobody's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
yeah.
the flag, take it back.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's
It's,
the problem?
there's a strange comfort in having someone running at you, shooting at you. It's like the quiet moments is when I really get scared. In like any multiplayer game, it's like nothing's happened in this hallway for 5 seconds. It's coming. And finally, Brad.
Yep.
The Night Before Christmas or A Visit from St. Nicholas?
I don't even know what a Night Before Christmas because I don't even know what a visit from St. Nicholas is.
It's the real name of the poem.
They're just
Oh.
the names
Interesting.
For
for the real. Yeah.
Yeah, Night Before Christmas. It's a little more unique, I guess. I mean, you got like a skeleton dressed up as Santa. That's pretty cool.
Not
No,
the
not
nightmare
Nightmare.
before Christmas.
Oh, wait.
The night before
They're the
Christmas.
same poem. They're just the
you
different
got
names.
skeleton dressed up. No, I'm just kidding.
it's a
I just like the first line. A Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
one.
I like the
Good
first
one.
line.
Great
Yeah.
line.
Right.
10 out of 10 line.
Is the first line is the same? Never mind.
I don't know I don't know my Christmas lore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really study up on it.
Technically, you're not my teammate anymore, so I don't feel too bad about this. But Blood, I really liked your had to get NFTs in this podcast somehow. I really liked your evaluation of GameStop stock. I've determined that you will finish up this podcast
I would like someone.
after Huber talks, obviously.
I would like, I need to do it. I need to go through. I need to see how many podcasts you have opened up the conversation with NFTs in the year of 2021.
All of them.
Like every single one? Do we think it's every
Yeah.
single one?
He's a big
Has
fan.
Jones not mentioned NFTs?
He likes to talk
Yeah.
about him. He's always talking about
Yeah.
it.
I think it's
Are you
relevant.
secretly a crypto bro, Jones, and you're just trying to get us to drink
you
the
have-
Kool-Aid
yeah,
with
do
you?
you
In
have
12
crypto?
months, this will be the Easy Allies NFT podcast, and I just want to prepare everybody for that because it's not my call. It's just where this industry's going.
Your finger on the pulse.
I'm reading the writing on the wall. I greased some palms at the Game Awards. What was everybody talking about? Not NFTs. Okay.
Make your own currency, Jones.
Let me tell you about patreon.com. It's like, yeah, the
Jones
Easy
coin.
Allies currency. That stay tuned. That might happen. Never know. Talk about Shadow Drop.
Yeah.
Pay up. Speaking of, let me tell you about patreon.com/Easy Allies. Patreon primarily runs this entire crazy operation. This is not only just a podcast. This is, we do lots of streams. We do tons of other shows. And a lot of that stuff you can be engaged in directly at specific tiers on our Patreon. You can get rewards for that stuff based on your involvement. Almost a lot of people that are on this podcast tonight are just about to go on vacation. You should see the block on our calendar that is just like all of them are out, all of them are gone. And so I want to say a particular thank you to all of our patrons, to everybody that supported Easy Allies in the year of 2021. That enables us to take even just a week or a little bit more than a week off to refresh our batteries and come back and give you the best gosh darn 2022 that we can bring, even though a lot of other people are probably going to make it hard for you and for all of us. We are here to talk about gaming news, at least on this podcast. Our tip-top tier on patreon.com/Easy Allies is our shout-out tier. And I want to shout out right now those wonderful people at that tier. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to Caleb Togi Crawford, Christian Semniak, Elle Fennis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Nick. Shout out. Blood, you get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off.
Yeah, so I'd like people to go check out, in case you missed it, this week's stream team was a lost portion of a Don's Design Lab. He was partway through shooting this when COVID hit and wasn't able to wrap it up, and the pieces didn't make sense to try to go back to.
And a certain someone looked way different. So
Sure.
it would be kind of weird.
Oh, that
put
makes
it
it
out,
hard
yeah.
too, yeah.
Which he brought up. I didn't even think about it.
It makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime people are like, "Why don't you make that public?" Well, that could be weird. But if you go to youtube.com/Easy Allies Plays, you can see them put together Damiani's level. So Isla, you made one from scratch, and then we went to Don's.
Yeah, so what we did was we looked at Don had the original map that Damiani had drawn, the level plan, design. And then I, with a little bit of input from them, designed what I thought that level was based on just the map. And they gave me a little context here and there when it made no sense. And then we compared it to the level that Don had actually spent like weeks and months making. So I made in an hour and a half a level that's a version of that map, and then we saw the real deal. It was really fun. It was really great.
A chaotic energy when I stepped into that room, for sure.
Yeah.
It was bonkers, yeah.
For a final word, I guess Ubisoft, respect the goggles and respect your employees. We'll see you before the next blood moon rises.
Can't wait to hear those boot up.
Yeah.